Hello everyone, welcome back to Lab4crypto. In today's video, I'm going to make a video format of my recent article because many of you immediately told me that you enjoyed and you took advantage of my findings, because when I published the article, the Bitcoin price was 62.7 and already today we are at 68. So it's important to receive this information as soon as possible. So do not forget to subscribe to our free newsletter and you will receive this information to your mailbox free of charge. So let's go and understand what I wrote on this article and explain why I believe Bitcoin will move either to the upside or to the downside in the next couple of months, and also especially in 2025. So in the article, I wanted to write, after each point that I was checking, the likelihood of the next Bitcoin move. So for example, if I believe that the likelihood of the next move is on the upwards, I said upwards. If I believe that one of the points that I analyzed was guiding me to think that Bitcoin will move to the downside, I also explain it. But anyway, let's go to each point step by step and understand it. So recently, if we click on the graph, so we'll see it in interactive mode as well, the Bitcoin interest over time, so the y-axis on the right side, is giving us the interest of people in searching the word Bitcoin in Google. So Google gives this information to understand if there is hype around a word or an asset. For example, if you go now and check the word machine learning or artificial intelligence, you will see this red line, which is the searches, to be really high. For example, when Bitcoin surpassed its previous all-time high in May 2021, in this period, you will see that the interest of people was 78% in Googling the word Bitcoin. But now we are at the levels which basically Bitcoin was when the price was hovering between 17 to 20K, 25, let's see, yeah, 27 at that point. So imagine really, really low prices. So now when we have this low interest from people about Bitcoin and the crypto market, and Bitcoin is hovering at 68 now, imagine what will happen when this red line start to go up. And I'm sure that you're already thinking that most likely Bitcoin price will move to the upwards, not to the downwards, because when there is an interest, a new interest from people in an asset class, especially when we enter a quantitative easing era and the global liquidity is expected to increase, most probably will help Bitcoin move to the upside. So that is why I said upwards on my first point. Let's go to the second point. Many of you heard me many times speaking about the power law and how important it is to monitor this model for Bitcoin. And also next week, I will publish a podcast which I made with Dr. Giovanni to help people understand how important this model is. But anyway, my point is that Bitcoin is following a power law, let's say distribution, a power law formula, to be more precise. And you will see, and I have in our platform the exact equation, but my point on the article was that the deviation of Bitcoin price from the equation that best describe its movement can tell us a lot if we are in a bubble or we are in an area which we can consider Bitcoin undervalue, and therefore try to precisely gauge our next move with the information that we have. So what in short this deviation is, if I hide these lines, if I check the deviation of the blue line from the red line, which is the fit line, the equation that best describes the Bitcoin price, we can see if Bitcoin is really overvalued, so it's deviated a lot on the upside from its fair value. So at this point here, you can see the blue line is much higher than the red line. So the deviation of Bitcoin price from its fair value, you already see at that point was at 80 to 83%. So that's why I put these color-coded dots, which basically is telling us when the Bitcoin price is approaching the orange and the red values. That means we can expect a pullback and possibly a crash. And when we are in the colors of blue and green, that means that we are in an area, in a period which Bitcoin can be considered undervalued, especially when we are expecting the quantitative easing era. So immediately when you see this plot, Bitcoin price was minus 24.3% below its power law trend line. So if we come and zoom, you already see that the blue line is below the red line. And this, in short, what this graph is telling us. And that, in short, in my article, I said that the likelihood of the next move for Bitcoin is on the upwards. Moving next, Bollinger Bands, it's a nice tool to see the channel that Bitcoin is moving in. Let us have a look. So in short, Bollinger Bands is this equation. It's taking the 20 days simple moving average of Bitcoin, and then the upper and the lower band is the standard deviation, which you can see the equation here. What we can observe from this model, and if you want to know more details about this model, you can click the watch our video and I have a detailed explanation. But in short, you will see when the two bands, the red and the green, are coming really close, that means a volatile move is expected on the market. You don't know if it's going to be on the upside or on the downside, but that is why you are using other models as well to gauge the likelihood of the next move to be on the upwards or on the downwards. What I said here is that Bitcoin is now in a tight bands when you check the upper and the lower, the green and the green and the red. And based on the performance of Bitcoin in Q4 and also my expectation of the quantitative easing and decreasing global liquidity on 2025, I expect that the tightening of these bonds was going to have a volatile move for Bitcoin in the next couple of days to the upside. And you will see that already when I published the article, the price of Bitcoin, as I said, was 62.7 and already now is at 68. Moving next, I said that Bitcoin is holding very well the bull market support band. The bull market support band is just the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA. And we can see that Bitcoin, let's hide the longer time frames, was holding the bull market support band, which is from both lines. Let me remove the 8-weight, the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA, and it was hovering from September. And even if I go, let's see, from the 17th of September was holding the bull market support band. And that was really important, especially as we are moving to Q4 of 2024. The reason that I'm saying the Q4 of 2024 is expected to be really bullish for BTC is basically my last video, I think. And also if you go and check our blog, you will find the article. And also I will put it in the description below, which I analyze why I expect Q4 to be really explosive for BTC. But using the bull market support band, is a good sign for us to see if bulls are managing to hold this line, this region, as we move to the Q4. And it was. And that was something good for me. And that is why I said that the likelihood of the next move is on the upwards. Moving next, something that I monitor is the FOMO level. The FOMO level is basically the threshold in which Bitcoin managed to stay above a certain price only 3% of its lifetime. So when Bitcoin is above this red line, and we'll see that for the, I think, past 7-8 months, Bitcoin was hovering above and below this line, but it didn't lost it, which for me was good news. That means that the likelihood that we're going to move to the upside as we approach 2025, it's more likely. That is why on the article I said that the likelihood of the next move again was upwards. Of course, now I want Bitcoin to consistently stay above this line. And in general, what this model is telling us is the price when Bitcoin stays above it for an extended period of time, it will drive new interest into the market, and people are going to starting to feel the FOMO, which FOMO is just the fear of missing out. So they're going to say, oh, Bitcoin is going to go to higher and higher value. So it's better for me to enter as soon as possible. And based on the analysis of Thomas Lee, you will see that this FOMO level, if Bitcoin price is sustainably above it, it can lead to an increase of, let's see, the value of 200 to 400% in the upcoming period. So we want this blue line to be above the red line for an extended period of time, not just go slightly above it like in August 2024 and then immediately come below it. We want Bitcoin price to stay above it sustainably, and then we are going to bring more interest and induce this FOMO level into newcomers. Moving next, our flagship model, which is our risk metric. And this model is much, much more complicated because it encompasses all the information that you will see from on-chain data and off-chain data into one model, which give us a risk level between 0 to 100%. Of course, when the risk is close to the upper band, that means we are expecting a crash. And when it's at low levels, that means that Bitcoin is, based on our analysis, is undervalued. And that is a good time for you to start thinking your next move if you want to allocate some capital to Bitcoin. Of course, it's not a financial advice. It's just a tool that you can use to gauge your next move and manage your risk. Already, our risk for Bitcoin was only 22% on the day that I wrote the article. And actually we saw these levels again when Bitcoin was at 26K. So imagine why I said that in the article, why I believe Bitcoin is going to move upwards. Because our risk was at low levels, which is a sign for us that the likelihood of Bitcoin moving to the upside was high. Of course, you can use other models as well. For example, the short-term bubble risk to identify this. I already made an article about my analysis on the short-term bubble risk of Bitcoin. When I publish it, the Bitcoin price and the risk was below my threshold. So in short, when you see the blue line, the red line, which basically is the price of Bitcoin divided by its 20-week SMA, when the red line goes below the green line, which is the short-term, let's say, risk, the red line, when you separate the risk in different bands from 0.5 to 1 to 1 to 1.5 and so on, and you will see the values when you mouse over. When the red line is below the green line, that's a really good news for us, especially if we are in an upcoming bull run, because it's a different story when you are in a bear market. Because if you check the performance of Bitcoin, you will see that usually Bitcoin enters an exponential phase when we enter a bull run for 1 year. Then there is an exponential decrease in price for another 1 year. And then we enter the accumulation phase. Now we are exiting the accumulation phase. So my expectation is that we are going to move up for 1 year. So let's imagine the official bull run based on our analysis will start in November 2024, and it will last for 1 year until November 2025. Then that means we are going to move exponentially higher for 1 year for Bitcoin and of course the crypto market. Then we are going to drop for 1 year and then enter the accumulation phase. So when we are in this period, which I am expecting that we are going to move into the exponential phase to the upwards, when the short-term bubble risk is below the green line, it's very good news. So that is what I said basically in my last blog, and I wanted to add it on this one. And in short, my conclusion on the blog that I wrote was that it's a good time for you, if you are thinking to allocate some of your capital to BTC, to start doing your research and prepare for the upcoming year. I always try to put the data there so you can explore it and starting to have the tools to do your research and starting to feel more comfortable with any choice that you're going to make. And also through my blog, try to guide you on what you can what you can use to do your research and what I am using in general to do my research and prepare myself for the upcoming year. I hope you enjoy the video. Please do not forget to give us a like and leave a comment into the video. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And also subscribe to our free newsletter so you can immediately receive in your inbox this analysis and to not lose a minute on the next move for Bitcoin and the crypto market. Until next time, bye-bye.